was having this conversation with a GM the other day, and we were talking offensive line and evaluations and, hits and misses, something we always do on the pod. We're always looking at what we got right, what we got wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like, and I'd love to get your take on it, but if you chase ceiling at certain positions, we've talked about tight ends and testing over production, and you're kind of chasing the ceiling with them. It feels like offensive linemen, if we look at the guys that are kind of the premier guys, a lot of them weren't viewed as high upside players coming out. They were the high floor guys, and they were going to be the safe picks and the steady eddies. And then somehow these floor guys end up becoming the high ceiling guys and play at the ultimate level. Whereas if you chase the high ceiling, sometimes, man, you are maybe the bust rate's a little bit higher when you chase traits for offensive linemen. I'd love to get your take on that one.
Look, I believe in that. I think it goes back a few years to the discussion with Tristan Wirfs, right? Mm-hmm. When you look at Tristan Wirfs, he was kind of solid in how he did it, but there was something in the tape that left evaluators wanting more. But then he goes to Tampa Bay and he jumps right in and plays, for the most part, just like he played at Iowa. The big thing with offensive linemen, how much better can they get as pros, really is dependent upon what kind of toolbox they come in with and how they already know how to utilize some of those tools. And so when we think about the guys that are playing, the guys that are the all-stars, they kind of displayed that ability already in college. They were pretty consistent over time. And I would say they weren't one-year wonders. They had solid resumes where they had a lot of experience. And then that experience allowed them to really easily assimilate into the National Football League.
Yeah, I go back to guys like Travis Frederick, right? Where you thought, okay, he's solid, steady. And then all of a sudden you look up and he's one of the best guys in the league. Joel Bitonio coming out was like, okay, good player, but I don't know how great he's going to be, but he's a really good player at Nevada. He's turned himself into an all-pro. Zach Martin we knew was going to be really good, but I think he wasn't somebody that just wowed you with his athleticism. He's just a really good football player. So I feel like, and I'm looking around and seeing these guys come into the league, and you kind of see the guys that are generating the buzz and are making contributions right away. And it's like, steady eddies. You can win a lot of games with steady eddies, and those steady eddies end up being some of your better players.
Some of your better players. I mean, you see it every week. What you got? We interviewed him on Monday's pod, Rashawn Slater. Rashawn Slater didn't play there last year, but when you watched him play, he was real solid. But remember, DJ, there wasn't a lot of fanfare like at the beginning of the draft process about him. Everyone would point back to his game versus Chase Young and say, hey, you need to check out that tape. But there was nothing flashy about his game. He was just very consistent and steady. I think for the most part, particularly at offensive line, I can deal with what a player is as long as I know and as long as he displays it on a weekly basis. The ones that get you in trouble are the ones that are the roller coaster rides. One week they play like a five-star talent. The next week they kind of cruise and chill playing down to the competition. The guys that are just consistent, you get the same kind of hard hat and lunch pail effort every week. Those are the ones that give you the steady consistency throughout their careers as pros.
I'm looking at guys. I'm going through the list of interior guys who were drafted, like Elton Jenkins. Where he went in the draft.
Just a steady Eddie player.
He can play everything, and he's been really, really good.
And he's played everything for the Packers so far. Yeah.
I look at Braden Smith, for the Colts. These guys were, they didn't just blow you away when you watch the tape. Joe Tooney is another great example of him coming into the league. It was like, man, this guy's just rock solid steady. And these guys end up being some of the best players in the league at their position. So I don't know. I think sometimes you're like, man, he hasn't figured it out yet, but look at the size and the length and the explosiveness. And it's like, yeah, that's a risk, man. I don't know at the offensive line position if I want to take that risk. Give me the steady eddies. The Chargers got another one in Zion Johnson. You watch, he's going to be a great player in this league.
He's going to be a great player because, one, he has a long resume. You think about started at Davidson, then goes
49 starts. 49.
So you have a long track record of being able to watch him play, and you can track his development throughout his time at both schools. And so he jumps in, and you're right, man. They're just talking about how easy it was for him to pick up. He doesn't make the same mistake twice. You see him play. It's really without a lot of fanfare. He's just a really good player. And we talked about it. Sometimes these B's and B pluses, man, you get a bunch of those, you still make Dean's List.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%.